Another day, another live service game getting shut down, folks. Now, this one in particular is a little odd to me. I'm going to be honest, I never knew this game even existed up until a couple weeks ago, until a couple of my friends told me, hey, let's slap this one on our agenda. Let's try this game out since it's shutting down soon. Let's try to get a couple laughs out of this game, fellas. So, if you folks have never heard of this game, I do not blame you. I never knew this game even existed until my friends actually brought this up to me. So, there is a game out there called Warlander. The game came out about 3 years ago in 2023, and it's shutting down now 3 years later in 2026. So essentially, this game is supposed to be a massive team-based battle where you and a bunch of other people get together and you're supposed to storm the enemy checkpoints and you're supposed to use siege weapons to your advantage, such as like using a giant robot, for example, to help clean the area and help secure like the towers so you can convert them to your side so your teammates can spawn on you so that way you have more control of the battlefield and whatnot, and you can use other siege weapons like robots or giant catapults, so if your teammate's in a pinch you can use catapults to support your team in battle. So, if any of you folks are old enough, and if any of you folks have ever played this game, you would know exactly what I'm going to be referencing here. But if you don't know, once again, I don't blame you. But essentially, Warlander is supposed to be another version of the game Happy Wars back on like the Xbox 360 days, where that game was supposed to be like a funny cartoony version of Warlander where you took control of towers, and it was basically the same concept. But however, Warlanders was similar to Happy Wars and they try to bring that concept back, but it just didn't last as long as some people wanted it to. Now, of course, there were some people out there that enjoyed this game, and unfortunately, it's going to be shutting down very soon. I do have an article on my phone I do want to read to you folks. If you want to read the article for yourself, I will leave a link in the description down below so you folks can go check it out for yourself. This article comes from delistedgames.com. I'm going to read it to you folks and then we will discuss. Toy Logic announced on Thursday that Warlander, their ambitious up to 100 player mashup of MOBA and hack and slash gameplay, will be shutting down on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox platforms on January 20th, 2026. Earlier this year, Toy Logic announced that a reboot of the game was upcoming with plans for open beta tests to start late in the summer. This latest announcement also confirms that some items and currencies that players may have purchased will carry over into the reboot. And then they released a statement on the article, and this is what they said. Thank you for enjoying Warlander. We regret to inform you that the service for Warlander will officially end at 9 o'clock UTC on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. We would like to express our deepest gratitude to all of our players who have supported us throughout this journey. Meanwhile, development of Warlander's reboot version is steadily progressing. We hope to look forward to the upcoming open beta tests. On behalf of everyone involved in the development and operation of Warlander, we sincerely thank you for your support. We will continue to work towards the launch of the reboot version, and we hope you'll stay with us for the journey ahead. Okay, so let's talk about this. So the game is apparently shutting down, but they apparently, I guess, plan to reboot the whole game after this quote unquote test that they were going for, this alpha build, if you would. Because the way they're describing it in the article, it sounds like they're going to try to pull a multiverses where they launch the game in beta or alpha or however you want to call it. They're going to shut the game down. They're going to re release the game in a different state where the game is going to essentially get one big makeover, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, By the way that they're describing it, it sounds like we have like another multiverses situation on our hand. Because if they're just gonna put this game in alpha or beta and then they're just gonna shut it down and then they're gonna try to reboot the thing and re-release it later in the year, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think much people are gonna be around that long and they're not gonna really be that interested. I mean, let's be completely honest here. The game was poorly advertised. It didn't really get out to as many people as they wanted it to be, and the game just didn't really have the content that people really wanted. I mean, you had like character classes and whatnot with like knights, clerics, and wizards, and you had all these like siege things. Like, sure, that's cool on paper, but in execution, the game just didn't really do that well to impress a lot of people. At first, I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty fun, but after like a little while, I quickly realized that this game is just not going to really keep my attention like I thought it would. You know, there are other games out there that I want to play that are much better than Warlander. There are other games that I want to play that are going to take up my time, and I got other important things to do in the real world, and I don't have the time to really just waste on another live service that I know I'm just only going to play like one or two times before I never touch it again. You know what I'm saying? It's just some more unfortunate news to report on. But at this point, man, it is what it is with modern gaming. I mean, you put out a live service game, you don't get enough people, you don't maintain that player retention, and the game's just gonna die off faster than you can say oops. Once again, if these developers actually do try to reboot the thing and it does better, then cool, I guess. But like I've already said, I highly doubt that anyone's going to really stick around for that. Because if this game is just going to be shutting down and you're going to try to reboot the thing, I feel like at that point, you're not going to really get anywhere. I mean, for some people that have already played the game, it's too little too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have already tried your game out and they're not interested and they're just going to move on to other things. Even if you try to reboot the thing and try to bring it back at some point. But again, if they try to pull a multiverses and try to bring the game back and then shut it down again, I would not be surprised. But as of now, this game is just shutting down. So, with this being said, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. And until next time, I'm talking about Warlanders, and I will see you all later.